where the real rigging in the 2020 elections, I mean, you can cast all your conspiracies upon it in terms of like mail-in ballots and all this jazz, but the real rigging was the collusion between social media companies and the government to suppress information that would have altered the effect of the election.
Yeah.
That's legitimate.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was like direct interference. And it was aided and abetted by a lot of former intelligence officials and, by the current administration. Tons of pressure on censorship coming from this, the current administration and all their kind of arms of the censorship apparatus.
You have your hands in the tech community. You have your fingers in all that jazz. Like, what was the general attitude about all that stuff when it was revealed? How did people, how did your peers respond to that?
I think anybody in social media, the internet companies knew it. So I think it was pretty widely understood. I mean, look, there's nothing that happened at Twitter in the Twitter files that wasn't happening all the other companies, right? And so it's a consistent pattern. If you got the YouTube files, they would look exactly the same. And of course, we should get the YouTube files,
sure.
Right? And now we probably will now with this new administration is probably going to carve all this stuff open. But yeah, no, look, it was a pattern. And then look, the companies bear a lot of responsibility, and the people in the companies, made a lot of, I think, bad judgment calls. But the government, the Biden White House was directly exerting censorship pressure on American companies to censor American citizens, which I think, by the way, is just flatly illegal. Like, I think is actually subject to criminal charges. Like, I think there are people with criminal liability who were involved in this. So there was that. There were also members of Congress doing the same thing, which is also illegal. And then there was a lot of funding of outside third-party groups that were bringing a lot of pressure down on censorship.
Yeah.
And just an example of that is there's a unit at Stanford, right next door, to us that, was the Internet Censorship Unit that was funded by the U.S. government.
Wow.
And exerted tremendous pressure on the companies to censor. And it was very effective at doing so.
Does it smell like sulfur when you walk those halls?
It is very dark and grim. This whole thing is very bad. And so
Stanford.
Oh, yeah, Stanford. Stanford, by the way, another unit like that at Harvard. A bunch of universities got pulled into this. A lot of NGOs and nonprofits got pulled into this. And so the Twitter files showed us kind of the basic roadmap. And then there's this thing called the Weaponization Committee that Congressman Jordan is running that has also revealed a lot of this. But I would imagine the new Trump administration is going to come in and carve all that wide open. And I know that there are people being appointed to senior positions who are very determined to do that.